Hello and welcome back to Detroit Become Human. Here we are in the Chapters menu. Now we're not going to be playing anything. I'm going to be doing some explaining how to get 100% flowchart completion in the Chapter CROSSROADS. I have almost every single chapter 100% flowchart completed, including chapters like Last Chance Connor, which isn't that hard once you figure out it. Things like Freedom March, which you have to go quite far back to get some different choices, and obviously the easier stuff like Meet Kamsky. I have almost everything 100%ed, apart from the last ones, because you have to go through all the credits, and that's kind of boring if you ask me, so I have most of the last ones done. Anyway, but the one chapter I had the most trouble with, I had trouble with a few, but a chapter I had the most trouble with getting 100% was Crossroads. And this was mainly on Cara's behalf, and a bit on Markus's. Connor's wasn't too hard, actually. But I'm just going to quickly, or sort of quickly, run through how to get all the choices in Crossroads. So we'll start with Connor, because that's what I came up with. Now, it starts off pretty simple. You're at Ferndale, follow the trail, get in a ship. When you're exploring Jericho, there's some things you can't do, depending on your previous choices, as with all chapters. Spot Cara, you can do as long as she's alive. Spot Alice, just go to the corner where Alice is. As long as she's alive, she'll be there with Luther if he's there. It doesn't matter if he's there or not, because Connor doesn't know Luther. Spot Explosives, another easy-ish one. They're right in the middle of the room. You walk in, interact with the explosives. Connor thinks Jericho's rigged. Spot Tracy. Now this is, again, only if you spared the Tracys in, chapter the Eden Club. If you spared them, you walk into the Eden Club, you can look up to your left, and you can see the two Tracys you spared right there, which is really nice. Spot Rupert. This, as far as I am aware, this is an L1 thing. Usually when you spot things, you press L1 to focus on them. Rupert, I believe, is just standing in one of the side rooms, and you just have to angle the camera towards him rather than actually using L1 to focus on him. As thing. The two articles you find here, Detroit in Chaos and Terror in Detroit, are both only if Markus has attacked the police in Freedom March. Only. You will find those, and you will find them on a magazine on the outside of the middle ring where the explosives are. Now, Stuck by Lucy, that is also something that happens. Because, well, that's just something that happens. There's no way to do that. Okay, these were things quite change. So, if Markus is alive, you will be in the captain's cabin with Markus. You will enter it, threaten him, confront him, then decide to machine or deviant. If Markus died in Freedom March, you will be in the captain's cabin with North. You'll enter it, threaten her, confront her, and decide what you want to do. First of all, if you remain a machine, then Jericho will be under attack anyway. And depending on who you talk to, Markus and North, they will take the gun off Connor, and you will have to go through the ship looking for them, and pursue whoever you're looking for. In the cargo hall, you'll be stopped by a soldier, and you have 4 options, which is to lie, say you're with Perkins, which both are the top ones there, where you resume pursuit. You can attack, which takes you into QTEs. If you don't do the QTEs, you will be destroyed. If you do, then you'll resume pursuit. Or you can run, in which the only thing there is that the soldier will shoot him, and he will die. So if you want Connor to die in this section, that's the quickest and easiest way to do it. Now, alright, so now we have Markus or North. So if Markus is alive, you will be going to the hold to interrupt him. And when they fight, you have, I think you control Markus, yes. You control Markus, and you have to press the button, I believe it's X, but don't take my word for it, rapidly to reach the gun and shoot Connor. So that's failed to reach gun before Markus. Markus will shoot Connor. He will be destroyed. However, if you don't press X as Markus, Connor will reach the gun and shoot Markus and kill him. Now, if Markus is dead and you're resuming pursuit against North, you will find yourself in a corridor where Josh is, where Josh is dying because Markus isn't around to save him. You will then spot North and have to run after her. If you make it, she will escape anyway and you will be killed anyway. So, and if you don't make it and you're shot, you will be shot and killed. So, pretty much all of them lead to a similar thing. Now, back to here, if you become a deviant, you will warn the corresponding person, and Jericho will be under attack. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of different paths here. Usually your path, if Markus is alive, will be all the way over here. You won't do any of this, because if Markus is alive, then Connor will just join the others. As long as Markus survives, goes down and does the bomb, Connor will just join the others as Markus comes out. If you fail to help Markus when he goes to help North, basically fail the QTEs, then Deviant Connor will be destroyed. If you manage to help Markus and do all the QTEs, help Markus save North, then Connor will continue, jump with everyone, and we'll be fine. Excuse me. Sorry, it's not that Connor's story is boring. It's quite interesting, I'm just tired. Now, the second one is if it's North and Markus is dead, you will end up as Deviant Connor in the corridor. You will join the Deviants, make for the hold, and here is where where you have to be careful with your choices if you're trying to unlock different things. So, what you have to do is, as soon as you regain control of Connor in the hold, Connor goes the wrong way, you just turn around, head towards the camera, you'll go the wrong way and get shot. Or you can just stand still and don't move at all, and he will get shot. If you get shot, then you will be destroyed. If you get shot twice, I think it is something like that. Yeah, okay, so you can get one of these, and you'll get shot once, and then if you do it again, you'll get shot again, and you'll die. But anyway, you can get one of these and still survive. So then you meet Lucy, who dies. The bridge collapses. So this is all extremely similar to Markus's one. So then you have Deviant Connor in the corridor, which also correlates with this if Markus has died en route. So then you have to sneak past the soldiers. The soldiers will threaten the androids. You can interfere or stay away. This is the first of three, the same ones Markus did. If you interfere and kill the soldiers, the androids escape, you go to the next corridor. If you stay away, the androids just execute in the next corridor. If you intervene and get shot, this is important, Connor is wounded. This only happens if you haven't already been shot. If you've already been shot, getting shot here will kill you. You get two chances. Well, you get one chance because the second one will kill you. So each of these, if you get shot once, one more will kill you. Anyway, so if you survive that, you'll go into the next corridor. Soldiers will be coming, and this is where you have your decisions. So you can either climb the stairs on the left, jump up the shield, straight at the soldiers, or just not choose any of them. Losing too much time, not choosing any, will result in him being shot and killed if he's already been shot. If he hasn't already been shot, he'll just be wounded. The other two both lead to managing to enter a well, or the next bit, where you'll find some more androids being chased by soldiers. Now this one's slightly easier because you don't have to interact with the soldiers yourself. Up above on the bridge where you are, you can pull a thing down to hit the soldiers and save the androids. So you can do that, and they will escape, or you can carry on and the android is shot. Once you get past all of that, you'll approach a hold where Josh is dying. This one's I never managed to pinpoint whether this was avoidable or not. I believe it is. If you get Markus a certain far enough, Josh may survive. But in this point, let's say it's not, because I can't remember. So Josh is dying, so you'll comfort Josh. Yeah. And then you'll be in the hold where the bombs are. In the control room, soldiers will interrupt you. Now, in this point, it no longer matters if you're wounded or not. If you fail to neutralize these soldiers, you will be shot dead, and that's it. If you do neutralize them, then you'll arm the explosive and run to go and join North. You'll join the others, try to escape, and have to mash X, probably, mostly it's X, again. If you don't do that, or don't do it well enough, you'll be out of time. North will jump, and Simon, if he's with her, and Connor will be destroyed on the ship trying to get out. If you do mash it well enough, Connor will jump, Simon and North will jump if Simon's alive, and North has to be alive for this to happen, and Connor will then escape. So that's Connor's one explained. I explained it all, didn't I? Yeah. And there are 2 checkpoints here. There's one at the very beginning, and there's 3. There's one at the very beginning, then there's one for each path, machine or deviant. Okay. Well, I'll do Markus next just because his is so similar to Connor's. It's got a couple different things. So, okay, we'll start with North because it's easier. So if Markus has died in Freedom March, the only place he can die, you will be in the captain's cabin with North. You won't be able to control her. This has just happened automatically. If Simon's alive, and that's complicated, in order for Simon to be alive at this point and Markus dead, what you have to do is you have to go all the way back, preferably to the very start of Jericho, and you have to have a hostile relationship with Simon, not bring John from spare parts, because once you're in Freedom March and you sacrifice yourself, if John's there, he will sacrifice himself instead of Markus dying, and if Simon is your friend and John isn't there, Simon will sacrifice himself instead of Markus dying. So the only way to die in Freedom March with Simon still alive is to have a hostile relationship with Simon and not have John with you. That takes a while because you have to go all the way back to spare parts at least in order to fail everything, get it all wrong, have Simon hate you, also don't bring John, and so on. So then you have to do most of everything again to get to Freedom March and to here. That's how to have Simon alive at this point. That one tripped me up for a little while because I wasn't sure how to do that because I knew Simon would sacrifice himself more for Markus. So that's how to do that. So, sorry, again, Markus isn't boring, I'm just very tired. So whatever happens here, North will stay alone with her thoughts, because that's the end of Markus's flowchart on this, because Markus isn't alive. That's Markus's. And then, obviously, if Connor's still alive, he'll go up North, and that happens in Connor's flowchart. So, and then if Markus is alive, you will cancel with Simon, Josh, and North, or just Josh and North, depending on if Simon's alive. Slightly easier in this case. Either leave an injured Simon behind Stratford Tower, don't find him as Connor, and also don't sacrifice yourself in Freedom March unless you have John with you, in which case John will sacrifice himself. It all gets a little confusing, but it's not that bad. Or the other way to keep Simon alive is just to not get him hurt in Stratford Tower. You all jump off and just make sure he doesn't sacrifice himself in Freedom March. So that's how to keep them alive. We'll start with Markus ousted. This was one of the last things I did, because this requires you to go all the way back to when you first meet the people of Jericho, all the way back to, is the chapter called Jericho? I believe so. So once you're all the way back there, you have to have a bad relationship with Jericho, which basically means I don't think it's hated, but you're unsupportive, I believe, is the official thing of Jericho. So if you're unsupported of Jericho, after counselling with your friends, your so-called friends, they will oust you because no one likes you. Once ousted, you'll find yourself on a rooftop. Wait, why are there two? Oh, you'll find yourself on a rooftop. This is if Connor is alive. You'll find yourself on a rooftop and Jericho will be under attack. If you can then choose to leave, in which Markus will just leave Jericho. This will even be an option if Connor's deactivated and Markus and Jericho isn't attacked. So, or you can go back to Jericho, which will just bring you all the way back to here, where you just do everything you were already doing, which I will go through now. So, discuss with North. You can either kiss her or don't kiss her. Not kissing her at this point, depending on your relationship status, may not degrade her from lover. It depends on how you're doing. I wouldn't chance it if you need her as lover for the end bit. So, generally. I don't know why I didn't kiss her in my last playthrough. I guess I was doing something else. So, North will leave Markus alone, either way. You can also choose whether or not to take the bomb. I don't know why that's not in the flowchart, but whatever. And if Connor's deactivated, Markus will just stay alone with his thoughts. Jericho won't be attacked. But if Connor's there, Connor will watch North leave, and then, confront Markus and everything. Jericho will be under attack, whatever happens there, and you'll be in the corridor with Markus. Meet your team, which consists of North. Well, you just meet North, and other people alive at this time can Josh and or Simon and or Connor if he's a demon. Try to escape. This is very similar to Connor's. So if you go the wrong way or you run out of time, just stay still, not do anything. Soldiers will shoot you. If this happens once, Markus will just be wounded. If this happens twice, he will be killed. Whatever you do there, you will then, as long as you're alive, you will meet Lucy, the bridge will break, and you will be in the corridor. Sneak around the soldiers threaten the androids. You can intervene. If you don't deal with the soldiers, one hit will get you wounded, and if it's your second hit, you've already been hit, then it will get you dead. If you do deal with the soldiers, or you stay away, androids killed or androids escape, progress in the next corridor. Soldiers coming Markus' way, same as with Connor. You can jump them, climb away using the stairs, or just not make any decision. If it's your first time, you'll just be wounded. If it's your second time, Markus will die. If you get past them, you'll enter androids being chased. You can... Yeah, this is the one where you can drop the thing on the soldiers. So you can either ignore it and carry on walking, or you can drop the thing on them so the android escape. Approach the hold, where you see Josh fighting a soldier. If you stay away, then the soldiers will shoot him, and you will have to comfort him as he dies, and then you'll be in the hold. If you intervene, but don't manage, this is important, if you intervene and don't manage to hit the QTEs, don't neutralize the soldier, Markus will be, no. If it's your first time being shot, if you have not been shot before this, Josh will sacrifice himself. You'll be shot, but Josh will sacrifice himself. You'll have to comfort him as he's dying, and you will be fine. If it's your second time, then you will die, Josh will also die, and it's terrible for everyone. So, preferably neutralize the soldiers, and Josh will escape, and you will be in the hold. You'll enter the old engine control room. And here's 2 more paths, depending on what you did with Connor. Okay, we'll do Machine Connor first. If Connor remained a machine, Connor will interrupt Markus, push him aside, and you will have the whole reaching for the gun thing. As I explained in Connor's flowchart, this is where you control Markus. It's important you remember who you're controlling. You control Markus and you press X until he reaches the gun. If you don't do this, Connor will reach the gun and kill Markus. If you do this, Markus will shoot and kill Connor. If Connor's a deviant, then just random soldiers will interrupt. If you fail to neutralize them, they will kill you. You don't get 2 second chances. You have to do this. And if you do neutralize them, then trigger the countdown on the thing, and you will be in the corridor. Which is also where you will end up after being ousted if you go back. In the corridor, you will join the others, North, and/or Connor, and/or Simon. Try to escape, in which you are prompted to push your X. I go with X because generally it's X. If you don't do this, you will lose too much time and get shot. North will escape with Connor and/or Simon and/or Josh. Markus will have died. If you do this, then North will get shot, in which you can leave her, which just leads to Markus leaving and/or Simon and/or Josh and/or Connor. North won't be there because she just got killed. If you choose to save her but don't press the buttons, then Connor will rescue Markus because North will be shot. If you choose to save her but don't press the button, North will be shot right in front of you, but you'll also be then in a compromising position, so Connor will have to come in and rescue Markus. If you do manage to press the QTEs and save North, then if Connor's there, he will protect Markus and North. If he's not there, you'll just have to run, which may lead to getting shot if you're not good enough. So if one of those 2 things happen, then So then you'll have to do some more QTEs and stuff, and that correlates with Connor's help Markus North. If you do that, then that's good, and you will either kill the soldiers or jump, or die buying some time. I assume that's talking about Connor because it then goes to Markus jumps. Yeah, so that's either Connor kills the soldiers or dies buying some time. Something like that. That's a little confusing, but it's fine. I think I explained it, sort of. Okay, so in Markus's there are a few more checkpoints. There's you're beginning with Markus, or you're beginning with North, which is very short. Then there's you're in the corridor after Jericho is under attack. Then as you move along, you have to do all of this. Okay, that's just it, there were only 3. Well, same amount. So there you go, that's Markus's flowchart. Finally, Cara's. Now, Cara's took me the longest time because it, well, I'll explain it in a minute. So, Cara's also starts with 2 choices. You will be either driving to Jericho with Alice and Luther, or if Luther died in the previous chapter of Midnight Train, you will be driving to Jericho just with Alice. The 2 things you can do, oh no, you have to do these, in fact, it took me a while to figure this out. So the 2 things you have to do whilst here are change the radio station, where you just touch your touchpad to change it whilst you're looking at the radio station, and look outside with L1. Doing those 2 things, you arrive at the parking lot, and say goodbye to Rose. You arrive at Jericho with Alice and or Luther. No, with Alice and maybe Luther if he's alive. Board the ship, find a warm place for Alice, go upstairs. Now, the little optional things here is to read the magazine. The same one I mentioned in Connor's timeline. There is a magazine that's near the bombs in the main bit where you go into Jericho. You will only be able to read these articles, Detroit in Chaos and Terror in Detroit, if Markus attacked the police in Freedom March. So that's important to remember. So if you want to read these, and these also count towards your overall magazine thing also, so if you want that trophy, you will also have to make these decisions. Once you do this, you will leave Alice and go up to either meet Markus, or if Markus has died in Freedom March, you'll meet North. That doesn't affect too much to do with Cara. You'll go back to Alice, see the android child, join Alice, and decide whether or not to stay distant or hug her. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated. So, we'll start with these because there's some endings here. If you hug or stay distant, whatever, but as long as you don't have a distant relationship with Alice, and if Connor is deactivated and doesn't find Jericho and Jericho isn't attacked, you will just be able to leave right there and then, either with or without Luther, depending on if he's alive. Those are your 2 endings. If you stay distant, and Alice is distant. Okay, this is because I did the whole thing from about fugitives, I believe, and tried to get Alice distant, but it wasn't enough. You have to go all the way back to A New Home. You have to go all the way back and have her not trust you right there and then. Don't talk to her, don't make good conversation, and all that. You have to be, at this point, you have to be distant already. If you stay distant again, she will leave, either with Luther or alone, depending on whether or not Luther's alive. She will leave, and Jericho will be under attack still. You will then have a choice as Cara to run away, and you will just leave Jericho on your own, with Alice just being there, assumingly she dies and all, which is really, really not nice. But that's that one there, which is really sad. But you can always find Alice, which gives a really good redemption arc if you have just been doing a sad Cara story, which I was recently. And that also relates to if you did one of these two when you weren't distant with Alice. Being not distant with Alice means she won't leave you. Anything other than distant and you're fine. You can choose what you want here. Okay? Although I do suggest hugging Alice because she's great and she deserves it. This will all lead you to Cara and Alice in the corridor, running away from Jericho. Now, it doesn't get too complicated because it mainly reflects on one thing, whether or not Luther is alive. We'll go for not at first. If Luther is not alive, you will search for an exit, be able to either go the wrong way, go back towards the camera, or out of time, just don't move at all. Doing those things twice, mind you, you have to get shot twice. So if you go the wrong way or are out of time once, then you will get shot. Do it again, you will get captured. And Luther will also if he's there. If you don't do those things and you get out, Android will open the door and it's shot. You go through the door and end up at the crossroads. If Luther is with you, you will escape with him. He will open the door, go through the door, and get shot. You can also do the out-of-time runway things with him, get captured with Luther. When Luther is shot, you will have the option to run to him. Well, no, you have to run to him, but then you will have the option whether to help him or not. If you decide to help Luther, but then do not do the QTEs and fail helping him, you will all get caught by a soldier and you'll all be captured. If you decide to not leave Luther... Wait. Oh, yes. If you decide to leave Luther and run towards exit... This bit confuses me. I can't even remember how I got it. Maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Because you can't... There's nothing else to do here. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Let me just... So if you get to this point and you don't have Luther, you'll just bypass all of this helping Luther stuff, go on to here, or you can go the wrong way, run out of time again, and get captured if you don't have Luther. So if you leave Luther, you run towards exit and everything. If you help Luther, get him to safety, leave him hidden, run towards exit. Soldiers block away, hide, Android seeks shelter. When Android knocks on the door, you can either let them in or not. If you don't, Alice will not like you quite so much, and the soldiers will shoot it and move on, and you will escape. If you do open the door, the android will be enter. It's short anyway, but Alice will like you for it, for opening the door. If you don't fight back, if you don't press your Q2Es, you will be captured. Not killed, just captured. Still pretty bad. If you do fight back, you will escape, flee, try to escape. Now, this is where things get a little difficult. This is probably the hardest bits that I managed to get to. So what you do here, escape. As soon as you try to escape, you have to fast press X. If you don't do this, it counts as fail to run. Failing to run will have Cara shot in the leg. You will then have several options, not all of these as it says. You will have a few of these, and then if you don't do anything, or if you choose a specific one, you will have some different ones of these. Okay, out of time is one that you always have. Now, the bad ones, crawl, out of time, get up, or play dead, will all lead you down here, and the other two, surrender or face, will lead you up here. Yeah, so crawl or out of time, as you can see, has an X next to it, because Alice will immediately be shot, and Cara will then be shot also. Get up, you'll fail to get up, and have to choose another decision, where you'll have the same ones or different ones. If you play dead, that correlates to just playing dead up here as well. If soldiers shoot at the crowd and you play dead, soldiers will close in. You can decide to defend Alice or remain still. If you remain still, you will escape. Easiest way to escape, definitely suggested. If you defend Alice, Cara will be shot, get close to Alice, and Alice will be shot. However, and this took me a while to work out, if you saved Luther, and or, because I haven't tested this yet, but in my getting this decision was, what I did is I, at the very start of running, got out of time and got shot once. I have no idea if this is necessary, but I got shot once right at the beginning. I also then saved Luther, got out easily, and then at this point, if you make any kind of move and the soldiers are about to kill you, Luther will come in and sacrifice himself. This took me a while to work out, and you will manage to escape. And this goes for all of them. So if you manage to press X and reach the thing, soldiers will just shoot at the crowd instead of just shooting at Cara. Again, the easiest thing to do is play dead, and if you just stay still, then you and Alice will manage to escape fine. The other two things you can do is run away or surrender. We'll do run away first. If you run away, Cara will be shot in the leg, and it will lead you to the exact same choices as fail to run did. However, in this case, the same thing. If you face, Luther will sacrifice himself if you have him, if you saved him, and you will manage to escape. If you surrender, you will be captured. If you surrender, anyway, right back here, if you surrender, you will have some more options. If you face, either Cara will be hit, and you will... Oh yes, so if you surrender and you face, Cara will be hit, Alice will intervene, and they will be captured. Or, if Luther's alive and you did the following, Luther will sacrifice himself and you will manage to escape. You convincing will lead to nothing, because the soldier will just threaten Cara and Alice and you'll have to be captured. Obeying, exactly the same thing, you will just be captured. And running away will just lead you right back here, where Cara is shot in the leg, make these choices, and then you'll have all these options yet again. So none of it is really any good. So best thing for a happy ending is reach the breach, shoot the crowd, play dead, soldiers close in, remain still, don't defend Alice. I was testing my theory here. Remain still as long as you can, don't do anything, and then you will manage to escape quite easily. Well, not easily, but So, I have no idea if I explained that any good. My chair is creaking and I was yawning. I apologise for all of the distractions, but that is how I reached 100% completion on the CROSSROADS chapter, all 3 of them. Sorry, I'm really tired, but I'm glad I explained that because I wanted to write it and I still might, but it's a lot of so many things to explain. It's harder to explain in writing, I feel, which is unusual because usually I feel like things are easier to explain in writing. But yeah, so that's 100% completion on all of the CROSSROADS chapters for everyone. I hope this was helpful, possibly, in any way, and thank you for listening and watching. This is seriously a great game, and if you want to be a completionist like me, you can spend literally so long getting 100% completion on all of the flowcharts. It takes a long time, but if you're a weird completionist person who has to do it, then it can be satisfying. Although a lot of the outcomes, the bad outcomes, are very much not satisfying because they're very sad, and I regret everything. I don't regret playing the game though, so we'll leave it at that. That was 100% on CROSSROADS, and maybe it was at all useful. Thank you for listening.